Good morning.
Good morning.
Whew. If you're not awake yet, I don't know what will wake you up. For those that don't know me, hi, my name is Ed Trout. It's my pleasure to be talking to you this morning. I want to start off with a very small, very short story related a little bit to Francis Bacon. Just out of curiosity, who is familiar with Francis Bacon? Great. Now, I am referring to the 16th century English nobleman who was also a philosopher. For those in the art know, there is also a contemporary 20th century painter named Francis Bacon. That is not the one I'm talking about. So this is from a source that, to the best of my ability to research, was first posted 10 years ago on Reddit by Laird Barron. And the story goes as follows. When I was young, my father said to me, "Knowledge is power," Francis Bacon. I understood it as knowledge is power, France is bacon. For more than a decade, I wondered over the meaning of the second part and what was the surreal linkage between the two. If I said the quote to someone, "Knowledge is power, France is bacon," they nodded knowingly. Or someone might say, "Knowledge is power," and I'd finish the quote, "France is bacon," and they wouldn't look at me like I'd said something very odd, but thoughtfully agree. I did ask a teacher, what did "knowledge is power, France is bacon" mean? And I got a full 10-minute explanation of the "knowledge is power" part, but nothing on France is bacon. When I prompted further explanation by saying, "France is bacon," in a questioning tone, I just got a yes. At 12, I didn't have the confidence to press it further. I just accepted it as something I'd never understand. It wasn't until years later I saw it written down, and the penny dropped. I love this story because, first of all, it is highly amusing to me, but I think it is also so recognizable. The things that we learn in our youth that we simply accept and make part of our being without understanding what it really means or where it really comes from. So in November, we are talking about gratitude, but November is also a month when we at Unity focus on renunciation. As we are thankful for what we have and what we are receiving, we look for the things that we need to get rid of to make room for the good stuff. That is both inside and out, by the way. And that includes getting rid of things that we mislearned long ago about ourselves. France is bacon. So why do we hold on to things? I will say Michael and I have a home that when we moved into was fairly sparsely furnished, considering the size of the home. And so we would have all kinds of friends and relatives say, "Oh, you have room in your house for this. Here, take this," which is wonderful. It's a great gift. And they kept giving us things, and we kept holding on to them. So now we have a fairly cluttered house. But the thing is, oftentimes they would give us things that didn't really serve us. And we still hold on to it because we want to honor the gift and honor the giver. Accepting something and sticking it in the back of a closet or in a basement for 15 years is not honoring a gift. Letting it go where it can go to good use, that is honoring a gift. So we don't want to end up with a cluttered home full of things that don't serve. And again, that is both outside and in. And like France is bacon, we often hold on to those mistaken notions that were gifted to us by somebody, or sometimes just through basic error thought on our own behalf. But we hold on to it. This last month in my seminary class, the primary topic that we discussed was spiritual abuse and spiritual wounds and religious trauma and religious injury. As you might imagine, this was not a light topic. It was very difficult for many, very emotional, lots of tears, lots of introspection. And for people that have never suffered any of the ill effects of religion, that is wonderful. And I don't mean to inflict any of that upon you, but many people have at some point felt at least an injury in some way through a spiritual organization. And it goes for non-spiritual organizations too. And a lot of that simply comes from the error thinking that we allow to exist and to stay. And then when we experience those injuries, when we experience those traumas, they result in even further error thinking very often. Common things that we might experience: feeling abandoned by God or the divine or the universe, whatever name you want to give it. We can feel as though God has turned its back on us. We are alone in this world. Or we may see anything that we receive that is abusive or a bad circumstance or illness. All of those things that come to us may be seen as punishment for those things we did or for the person that we are. We may carry unexpressed anger at God, at the divine. We may not only think that the divine has turned away from us, but we stop believing altogether in anything that is outside of our immediate worldly knowledge. We turn our back and say there is no divine, there is no God. We may also feel pressured to forgive when we are unable or unready to do so. And here let me say, I very much believe in forgiveness. We often talk about forgiveness here and letting go of things. And while it can be important, that is a personal journey. And if you are not ready or not able to forgive in a moment when somebody is asking you to, there is no reason to judge yourself for that. You do not forgive until you are ready. And it is for you, it is not ever for the other person. So do not judge yourself or others if you are unable. And then finally, we may often feel extreme shame. We may feel, I'm a bad person. I'm worthless. I'm a worthless sinner. And I want to focus on that last one, shame, because shame often accompanies the others anyway. If we feel abandoned by God, if we see ourselves as punished by God, if we are made to feel less than, then we may feel shame for all of those things in addition to the original thing we're feeling. But hear me when I say, that is not the truth of who you are. That is not the truth of who you are. I want to share a very brief poem. The poem is entitled Power and is written by Nayira Wahid. It is very brief, but it says, a lie is simply a lie. It draws its strength from belief. Stop believing in what hurts you. Stop believing in what hurts you. So in November, in this month of renunciation, we are letting go of that which no longer serves us spiritually. So what lies do you believe about yourself? Almost all of us carry some, these residual lies that linger. And in fact, speaking for myself, it is often easier for me to see the spiritual truth in others than it is to see it in myself. To overlook the flaws that I know are here is often harder than overlooking them in someone else. So what lies about yourself are you giving strength? The Reverend Dr. Ron Dobson talks about shame, saying that there are 3 legs of shame. The first involves an encounter with authority. So there is something, somebody, something external to us that triggers this sense of shame. It's the beginning of it. Now, that authority could be a person. It could be a dogma. It could be a society, a group. Anything can be that authority figure. And that leads to step 2, that second leg of shame. is our assumption of failure, our assumption of sin, our assumption of error, and the anticipation of a negative reaction. The third leg, that leads us to hide or suppress things about our life or our liveliness. The life parts of us, the lively parts of us, the divine parts of us that are simply part of our being, but because we are meant to feel shame, we suppress, we hide things from the world and from others. So what lies about yourself are you giving strength? And for some of you, it may not come out as shame. Maybe there's no shame, but there is something that you look at yourself and you view as insufficient, inadequate, unworthy. So I want to take a moment to think on these things. And we'll do this a little meditatively. So I want you to get comfortable in your seat. Get your feet on the floor. You can put your hands in your lap. You can go ahead and close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so. And I want you to take a nice deep breath in together. And let that breath out. As you continue breathing deeply, I want you to breathe right into that heart center. Breathe right into and out of that heart center. And as you are breathing, focused on your heart center, I want you to feel what you carry in your heart that weighs on you. What idea about yourself are you carrying in your heart that weighs on you? What idea might you carry from your family that has made you feel unworthy? It is not the truth about you. What thing did you pick up as a child that made you feel diminished? It is not the truth about you. What thing did you pick up as a young adult that made you feel less than? It is not the truth about you. And what have you experienced within any church or spiritual organization that has wounded you? It is not the truth of you. Let divine wisdom guide you. God is great in the midst of all of this. And that divine wisdom is leading you to let go of something. Identify that error thought, but do not take ownership of it. Just see it. Acknowledge that you carry it with you. It is a gift given from someone else for someone else's purpose. And that purpose no longer serves you. Question, who is the authority that gave you that gift? Who told you or taught you what to believe about yourself? And why are you giving them power? Do they deserve that place of power in your life? Ask yourself, what are you actually judging yourself for? And why would you believe you deserve it? And once you ask that and get an answer, what do you want to do with that observation? Is that observation even based in fact? Is it accurate? And finally, look at how you have hidden part of your life or your liveliness from the world. Can you even identify what part you have hidden? And if you cannot identify what you have hidden, do not judge yourself for it. Simply consider how you want to reveal more of the truth about you. How can you reveal that which you may have hidden? And it can be as simple as telling your story to another person who will give you a supportive or non-judgmental space. Because it is time to let go of that which does not serve you. As you continue breathing deeply, move your focus down into your lower abdomen and breathe. And let that error thought that you have held on to go. Let it slip from your grasp, leaving your hands and your heart empty and open. And remember, you do not do this alone. God is with you, guiding you, healing you. Totally accept and believe that. And listen to the words that Thomas will share as he sings a song from Daniel Nahmod, to be followed by a moment of silence.
When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder what have I done wrong? Even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand. You needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubted. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up. I know I'll go through it. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love into my empty hands. Gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be, and I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. Oh, thank you for my empty hands. I'm so grateful. 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 Oh. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Psalm 30, verse 2 says, O Lord my God, I cried to you for help, and you have healed me. Your hands and your heart have been opened and emptied of the error thoughts that you carried, so that God, goodness, divine spirit, can fill it with the truth about you. Be ready to receive from God, from the universe. Claim your blessings and be grateful for that which you receive. You are worthy of experiencing gratitude. And feel free to continue this process with any other error thoughts that came up. Question the authority who instilled that thought, even if that authority is you. Question the truth behind the thought, and examine what part of you has been hidden that needs to be revealed. And then share your truth. No one can share it for you. Knowledge is power. Yes. Francis Bacon did indeed say knowledge is power. Francis Bacon also said, truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. Believing in yourself is scary, and it is hard to tell. But stop holding on to the Francis Bacon concept. Let go of the fiction that has been created, and let God pour new blessings, new gifts, new life into your empty hands. Because, as Nayara Wahid said, a lie is simply a lie, and it draws strength from belief. Stop believing in what hurts you, and start believing in the truth of who you are. And so it is. Namaste.